Okay, so report update, that's OBE based on what we did tonight. Next meeting will be June 6th. Okay, so, we do have one. So we're going to issue an interim report in June that says, you know, we didn't have complete data, blah, blah, that, and then we'll issue a final report when we get it, which at a time to be determined. Are we all agreed on that? You okay with it, Jeremy?
I don't know that it's going to be an interim report necessarily.
No,
it might be
June,
our final report.
No, in June. We won't have final data in time for June.
I'm not sure we don't have final data right now.
That's what I'm saying.
With a letter attached to it, you know,
No,
that's
but
pretty
we
much
don't-
it.
We don't know what that letter is. It's unknown. So I'd rather plan for an interim report in June and then do, if we need to massage or whatever, go back and forth with this letter and have a level of confidence in it.
Yeah, I'm more worried about looking at the future than I am this first one. I mean, I think that obviously we have different thought processes here, but I don't know what you're going to get differently. That's my only concern. I don't know that there's going to be any big thing in this letter coming out. It's going to be saying, yeah, these are certified. It's going to be their name and address on top of it, and it's going to be stamped and complete, and that's pretty much it. And it's going to be up to us to put those numbers into our report and say they did or didn't do what they said they were going to do. And then we're done. So, I mean, we could actually do our letter that night and be complete.
Well, it's more than that. We have a report. It's going to be
Right,
more than a
exactly.
letter. It's a report.
No, it's our full
We've got to
report.
fill in. We've got to fill in the blanks.
I know.
And if we don't get the data until then, you know.
You're not going to get any more data than what you have right here, I don't believe.
There's no more data available
Yeah.
in terms of,
Yeah.
here is the source, we know what the source came in. And then on the use side, we know what was budgeted. And in certain cases, we can give you actuals if the amount was appropriated separately.
Correct.
That we can report on something that's an actual because of the way it was appropriated. When we're looking past, there's not different data than from 16, 17 that's broken down that I can get in a different way, because that year it's closed. It was an account, you know, if you don't have the accounting structure for that. So you're right, the data that we have, we certainly can summarize it in a letter that says we budgeted $30 million, 26.5 came in, we allocated $30 million, we appropriated this money for these different uses,
And it should be a one-to-one correlation with this.
Yeah.
And you should furnish this as part of that letter as an attachment. And what's in here will correlate with what you're saying in the letter.
right, and I think from an actual, the thing that we don't have for 16, 17, in terms of, I think in a perfect world, it would have been appropriated, we'd have that source, and then the use would be appropriated separately in some ways. Even if it were general fund, you'd have something that says, here are these different appropriations. And here's where I think, and even if we want to try to go back and say, okay, we're going to now appropriate these, and do something to sort of assign it, or do something where we can now track these. And going forward, but you know, we're going to try to say, we're going to figure out how some sort of accounting for this. But we would have to now do that, since it wasn't done for 16, 17 in that way, it wasn't appropriated that way. I can't come up with actuals in that way. They don't exist. So I can report on what we have, which was what was budgeted, which is what we gave for that. So that's what we can do for 16, 17. That's what we have.
That's reality.
For 17, 18, where it's not, we certainly always can report on the source. That's never going to be the issue. On the use side, since it wasn't structured that way to start, we certainly can identify things that were budgeted at a level that was higher, or things that we augmented in the budget and sort of track, but it's sort of going back and looking at how did expenditures go, or try to look at something kind of going forward. That's why I'm trying to understand when we're structuring going forward, since it was not initially done that way, it's what should we do to try to
Yeah.
meet your needs going forward, because it's gonna be a change, would have to be something different in how we're accounting, because it's not set up that way. And it is a general purpose, that's why we had set it up, we look at it a little bit more globally. You're looking at trying to say, no, I wanna be able to tie this to, specific things. But when we're looking at 17-18, which we're, well into, we'd have to try to figure out what makes sense to go back if we're going to try to look at doing something differently. It's,
But 17-18 is essentially gonna be forensic also. It's gonna
It
be
is,
try to-
but that-
But what
right.
about 18-19? What changes can you implement now going forward that will make it easier for the 18-19 work?
I don't think that's an appropriate conversation to get into tonight. We're over our timing, and I mean, we have to stay focused on closing out one and
Yeah,
having another conversation
right,
on the
that's-
others.
That's where I think going forward, I think for 16-17, we can provide information, what we will, we can say what we
Yes.
can't provide and what we can, and the actuals we won't be able to break out in that way. We certainly can do budget.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take, I'll update the report based on the data in this. Can you pass it around to our guy? Can that be an internal document, does that have to be broadcast to the world?
It has to be broadcast.
Can't be working paper.
No, there's no, all the iterative versions have to be up somehow
Okay.
to be available to the public.
Can
Can I,
they be
can I,
posted for the-
one last
can they be
suggestion?
posted for
City
the June
Moraga
meeting, or
has a
you-
very
Okay, so
similar
that gives
thing,
us
a local
that.
sales tax and oversight board and everything. And I've got a couple contacts there, but I never really chased it down. But it might be smart for you guys to just compare apples and oranges. City of Moraga is nothing like the city of San Jose, and I don't know if it doesn't translate. But they may have established, they're facing the same issues. Maybe they've got a way that is a simple fix for you guys to do.
That might be a helpful suggestion.
Okay, can we adjourn?
So do we decide on a mid-letter and then a final letter, or what?
No,
We can put that on the June agenda.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, let me.
It's an open
Put it on
agenda.
the June agenda.
Let me develop it. You're gonna look at our report, please.
Okay, sure. And I'm gonna get me that report.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
And if
thank you
can,
very
going
much.
forward,
Thank
next,
you.
I don't know who's gonna be on the next committee. Please establish a line of communication and dialogue with them early on. So that, you're in sync, in harmony, and, it would help, it really would help us.
Sure.
In fact, we tried. We reached out. Several times.
So, I'm sorry, are we adjourned? Oh.
It's 7:22. Only 7 minutes late.
No.
We're